Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the first of the tone sample series videos. In these videos, we're going to be breaking down how to get a particular type of tone. In this specific video, we're going to be looking at a tone that was released a few weeks back, which is more of a heavy-ish, djenty type tone. Go give that a listen. I'll put a link up in the corner here somewhere for you to go directly to that video. Come on back and we'll break down how we got that particular tone. All right, welcome back everyone. Let's just go ahead and jump right into this. So the first thing I want to point out is the signal chain. So I was using my Schecter Hellraiser C7 going into an Ibanez TS9 tube screamer, and then from the tube screamer into a Focusrite Scarlett audio interface, from there going into the Mac. So let's just go ahead, and I've got these two guitar tracks soloed. This is the DI track, direct input, nothing else going on here. So that is the DI track. So we'll just kind of run through the individual plugins and kind of what's going on to shape the tone, the end result that you heard in the video shared out a few weeks ago. So the very first thing I'll point out is I do have an EQ going on here. That's the very first thing happening. It's a high and a low pass. It looks kind of harsh. Obviously, we're starting the cut around 1200 hertz, tapering off around 4100-ish, it looks like. On the low side of things, we're starting the cut around 90 hertz and then tapering off from there. So we've got quite a severe hard and low pass, but this just kind of dialed in. It cleaned things up a good bit. So I didn't want a lot of the high twangy stuff. I didn't want any of the super low stuff. This kind of cleaned it up a good bit. So I'm going to turn this on for both of the DI tracks, and you can hear the difference here. So this is with the EQ. So right there, you can obviously hear it's gotten rid of a lot of the high end and then trimmed off a little bit of the low end. All right, so that's what that sounds like. Now we're gonna go and check out what happens next, which is the Fortin Nameless series. So I'll pull up these and we'll go ahead and toggle these on for both of the tracks so you can give it a listen. And this is what it sounds like. Okay, so here are the settings. Make this bigger so you can see it better. All right, so you can see the MVC pull gain here is maybe 7.5, just below 8. Presence is about at 6. Bass is about just less than 5. Middle is about 8. Treble is just a little bit above 6. Gain 2 is maxed. Gain 1 is right about just above 6, and we're using high gain. If we take a look at the pedals, you can see we've got the Fortin Zool engaged, dialed in at about maybe 11 o'clock. We have the grind at maybe about 10 o'clock. Take a look at the cabinet section. We're using two microphones. We're using a condenser 187 and a ribbon 121. You can take a look at the settings that we've got going on here. Mark those down. Again, if you're wanting to try and reproduce this tone, these are the settings. So go ahead and write those down, screenshot it, whatever you want to do. And then we will move on to the next plugin. So the next thing that happens is essentially just a compressor. This plugin particularly is probably a bit overkill, but I found the compressor part of this to work pretty well for what I was looking for here. And specifically that was to get rid of some of the woofy low end that was happening coming out of the Fortin Nameless. So as I exported this audio file and started listening to it in different scenarios and different speakers in the car and whatnot, I started hearing a little bit of a woofiness going on the low end. So adding this compression seemed to clean that up a bit. So we can go ahead and take a listen to what that sounds like. Okay, there it is. And so not a huge difference, just a bit of compression. So the last thing that I added to both of these tracks was some additional EQ. So turning these on, So you can see we're doing a high and a low pass here. So we're tapering off around 64 hertz and then around 5100 hertz. Just trimming some of that super high and super low end off, and then giving just a slight boost to 285 hertz and about 1040 hertz. And with those on, this is the final result. So I will solo just one of these tracks and pull it up the middle so it's not pan anymore. And we'll just give a listen to it soloed, and I will turn on and off this final EQ just so you can kind of hear the difference. So you can really hear when I turn that off, that EQ off, that high end starts coming through. If that's what you're looking for in your tone, by all means, you can just not add this final EQ. For me, it was just a bit too high end. There was just too much coming through there. I wanted to taper some of that off and boost just a little bit of those mids that I pointed out. So again, we'll just kind of play through this final result. Alright everyone, that is a wrap of the first Tone Sample Series videos. If you liked what you saw, please do subscribe. If you have any questions, comments, or feedback, please leave those in the comments. I plan on making this a regular thing, so again, if you liked what you saw, please do subscribe, and thank you for your support.